Say is that, I haven't had a lot of jobs, but I've had jobs in the civilian world. And I've been over here for 6 months, and I work 12 plus hour days. I work 6 to 7 days a week. And he goes, I love it. When he could have said, well, I'm doing ROTC. I'm going to continue to do that. I want to commission as an officer, and he would have been allowed to stay. That was my understanding, to continue his education at Drake and just go through the ROTC route. He kind of planned it out, but he was adamant, like, I'm going to go with my unit.
He's 20. He was going to be 21 in May, in 2 months.
Was that's a big birthday?
Yeah.
You're going to take him out for drinks?
Well, he was actually still supposed to be in Kuwait, and you can't drink in Kuwait. And so before he had left, we were like teasing him about it, because we were like, oh, you're gonna be 21 and you don't get to go out. And he didn't even care. But yeah, I don't know. We were just so excited.
So sad.
I would say Sunday. I'm sure everybody started waking up that morning, and you heard at the time that 4 people had been killed and many injured. And I think we talked with our son in Italy at the time, and said he had talked to Declan kind of based off of timing, and what we know so far. We don't know specifics, but we're just making an assumption based off of timing that it was shortly after that phone call that he had gotten off with his brother, that this is when that happened and his operations center got hit.
I still don't fully think it's real. I didn't think it was real when they told us, because I just remember all of our conversations about what he was going to do when he came back. And so I'll just be sitting and thinking about it. And then, it's really hard. And I didn't have like the same phone call like this weekend that my dad and like my brother did. And so I just really wish I got to tell him I love him one more time, because he was just so amazing, and he always in front of everybody just was like really strong. He never let his emotions really show. But I don't know. I can't help but think just he was my little brother, and he was probably really scared even if he didn't want people to know. And so I just wish he could have known one more time that we all loved him, because he was so amazing and kind. And like my dad said, like he didn't like speak like that much, but like every little thing he did was just so, I know I'm just saying he was kind, but I don't know. He was just like the best little brother you could have.
That's emotional. My heart just completely breaks. Sorry, I'm like choked up a little bit, for Sergeant Cody's family and other service members that we lost in Kuwait there, because losing brave young kids, anyone, like this really highlights, why we need to focus on diplomacy instead of getting dragged into another endless Middle Eastern war. It's so sad. Rest in peace.
Here we go. Same war, different day. This is not our war. This is friggin' Netanyahu and Iran's war. That's what it is. But we're in it because Trump has to deal with this asshole over here, Netanyahu, who should be friggin' in jail or shot for war crimes, okay? So should Trump, okay? Now, this is what's going to happen. It's going to go on, and Iran is not going to fuck around. And we're going to lose soldiers, American soldiers, mothers. Start saying your prayers now. God, forgive me, but that's what's going to happen. And Iran is going to start blowing the shit out of stuff in America, all right? They did it before. Let's not fuck around here, people. And this Netanyahu, what is he going to do? What is he going to do? I hope they blow him apart, okay? I really do. I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of everything. Trump should be out of the goddamn office, all right? And but now look, we want to work on something right now, all of us, okay? So I want you to join with me. I'll do it with you, okay? I want you to say what I say. Give me an F. F. Give me a U. U. Give me a C. C. Give me a K. K. Give me a Y. Y. Give me a O. O. Give me a U. U. What's that spell? Fuck you. What's that spell? Fuck you. Well, come on, all you big strong men. Donald Trump needs your help again. Got himself in a terrible jam. Way down around the end. Iran. Put down your books and put up a gun. Gonna have a whole lot of fun. And it's 1, 2, 3. What are we fighting for? Don't ask me, I don't give a damn. Because he's gonna steal Iran. And it's 5, 6, 7. Open up the pearly gates. Well, we ain't got time to wonder why. Whoopee, you all gonna die. Stupid rat bastard. Get the fuck out of here!
You really got to ask yourself why you're draining your own national resources and putting American troops in the crosshairs for what genuinely does look like Netanyahu's personal war, but especially when most of us here at home just want to stay out of it.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years.
That Truth Social video, which was posted somewhere around the 2:30 a.m. East Coast hour today, February 28th, 2026, is about 8 minutes long. And I only made it as far as that clip that I just showed you. Because the minute that Donald Trump said that he did this to protect the American people, I knew everything after that was going to be a lie. Donald Trump does not care if the American people live or die. And he doesn't care because in 2020, the American people as a collective fired him. We did not re-elect him. And for a narcissist slash sociopath slash whatever else he might be, that is unforgivable. And he will burn the earth to the ground in order to get his revenge and watch us suffer. By walking hand in hand with Netanyahu of Israel, a wanted criminal, wanted by the ICC, and choosing to engage in a joint strike in Iran, we know that he has put the American people in not just grave danger, but imminent danger. Because Iran has already confirmed that if the Americans were to strike, if the US teamed up with anyone and struck, that they would retaliate. And they would retaliate by attacking bases all over abroad, anywhere that their missiles and other capabilities have reached to. They also confirmed that within the United States, they would activate sleeper cells. There will be terrorist attacks in the United States, and they will happen soon. And they will happen in large areas, and many, many people will die and or be injured and or be traumatized. And that's just the way that Donald Trump wants it, because he knows that by striking Iran, he has activated all of that danger for the American people. It is evident, especially in the State of the Union address, which was given this week, that Donald Trump finds violence to be pornographic, arousing. He gets off on it. Just listen to the many different ways he talked about young, beautiful women in that speech, and then detailed each and every bloody, gory detail of their murder and death in front of their families, re-traumatizing them, while he practically had a grin on his face. That's who Donald Trump is, and I'm certain, if he's awake, he's sitting in front of a TV watching these strikes happen in Iran, laughing, feeling good about himself. And when retaliation comes for the American people, either abroad or at home, he will do the same. Because Donald Trump does not care if the American people live or die.
Dang, seeing our troops get used as pawns for what clearly looks like a reckless ego trip is just incredibly frustrating. I can see what she means. I can see how other people feel. I also use social media. I see what people are saying, but it's especially true when everyday Americans who will inevitably have to face the terrifying fallout of wired or war come true.
Look, the truth is there's no predicting oil and gas prices for next week or the week beyond with the Iran war. There's just not. Because we've never seen this before. Iran is not fighting a war with the United States or Israel. Iran is fighting an oil supply disruption war. That's what they are targeting. Exactly what everyone who had any sense thought they would do. They are attacking oil infrastructure throughout the Middle East, oil producing nations throughout the Middle East. They're shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, or trying to. They've already stopped and disrupted a lot of traffic through there. 20% of the world's oil goes through there. There's still some tankers trying to make it through. They only have to sink one of those bad boys and it's over. They don't have to create a blockade. They just have to create an environment where everyone refuses to go through there. This is an all-out war on global oil supplies. This is Iran's only strategy to survive. And depending on what this looks like by Sunday evening, there's really just no telling what the markets are going to do. Of course they're going to go way up. And OPEC's going to come out and say, oh, we're going to increase production a lot. Except the markets know that they still haven't increased production as much as they said they would a year ago. The only thing we know for sure right now is that the country of Iran is going to make this as painful as possible on global oil supplies and U.S. gas prices. And we'll see how that plays out.
Very true. You know, it really is crazy because they're going to be choking off a fifth of the world's oil supply, and it's going to prove that everyday Americans are the ones who always end up getting crushed at the gas pump to pay for these reckless military escalations, essentially, right? So it's a rough one indeed.
Soldiers are gonna be in Israel, are in Israel right now as we speak, in order to defend the Israelis. Do the Israelis pay for our military? Are they the ones who are shelling out $1 trillion a year for our military? No, they're not. We pay for our military. Why are our soldiers based in Israel? Why do we have F-22 Raptors in Israel in order to protect Israel?
Yes.
Can you explain it to me?
Yeah, well, I can. Put our guys, Americans, in the front lines to get murdered, to get killed, so that we'll get dragged into a bigger war, and we fight it for them, just like we did in Iraq, so we can pretend that this is America's war.
The U.S. has sent Army troops to Israel to operate the THAAD anti-missile systems, because that's why we spend all that money on our military, so we can protect a foreign country that doesn't contribute anything to our country or to our military.
They are messing with something that is super dangerous here. The rage this country is going to feel when we lose any significant number of troops in this war is not going to be anything like you've ever seen before.
True. You know, say what you want about her delivery here, but, you know, she makes a very valid point about how insane it is that working class Americans are just expected to be writing blank checks and risking their own troops for Netanyahu's endless conflicts. I mean, when you think about it, that kind of is what's happening.
Welcome to potentially the worst day in the history of our country. This may very well go down as the day that the United States lost its democracy forever. The date is February 28th, 2026. It's about 1 in the morning, and Israel and the United States just started striking Tehran, thus starting the war in the Middle East, which means we are now at war with Iran. The Trump administration is trying to move the power to control U.S. elections into the executive branch. They are grossly misinterpreting our laws in order to do so, and one of the prerequisites they needed in order to enact their plan, or whatever the hell you call it, is a war, and now they have one. And let's be very clear that this is an explicit violation of our Constitution. The Trump administration is also trying to buy up every AI company they can so that they can use their technology to surveil the American people, as well as wage war on the rest of the world, as well as Americans that they disagree with. We tried to warn you, you ignored us. You told us that we were being hyperbolic and dramatic, but it turns out we were correct and you were just willfully ignorant. This video is not a goodbye to democracy. It's a hang in there. We'll see you later, because we're going to fight like hell.
Yeah, very true. You know, it's definitely not a literal end to democracy, but it is crazy to watch the current administration completely bypass Congress to start an unauthorized war that just so happens to perfectly distract everyone while they try to quietly grab a little bit more executive power back at home.
My words that this attack on Iran is going to result within a month. We'll have an incident here in the United States where American citizens are going to die, and it's going to be labeled a terror attack. And of course, Iran is going to be responsible for it. But don't doubt for a second that it's not Iran who did it and that it originated right here, because they will do whatever is necessary at this point in order to stop the midterm elections. And if we have a terror attack or two, then that gives him reason to declare martial law, just for our safety, of course. But don't doubt for a second that something isn't going to happen, because it is. And they're going to blame Iran instantly. Mark my words, it's coming. They'll do whatever it takes to stop us.
You know, it really does send chills down your spine to think that whether it's from here or there, that we could face actual retaliation for this reckless overseas strikes. But, you know, it's the fact that people legitimately believe that the administration would use that resulting panic to try and suspend the midterms just shows how completely shattered our trust in them really is. And that's not good, whether it's true or not. It really isn't good. But that's it for the video. If you haven't already, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Catch you in the next one.